Hey, what's going on? Tyraku here, back again with another raid video. Today I want to talk about a gear set that's definitely not talked about very much, and it makes sense. It doesn't have a ton of uses, and I am still playtesting this and going through the processes, but I do think this could have some very big benefits, especially for people trying to push faction wars, specifically in this video, the Banner Lord faction war crypt and the Dwarf crypt. These two factions have some champions who work very well in this set, but it is pretty niche use. So let me jump in here and talk about this. The champions that I am going to be using are not maxed out, and I don't have them utilizing the full potential of this set. However, I don't want to wait too long because the booking process of these champions takes so long, especially when you're not getting a ton of books. It's so difficult to get epic books. Even when I'm buying them from the bazaar, I have legendary books, but I don't want to put legendary books on an epic champion. I've done it before, but it's a waste. So the set that I want to talk about today, and we've been kind of going over this unique sets that aren't used that much, and kind of trying to find uses for them. The set that I want to talk about today actually comes from the Ice Golem, a dungeon that's typically known for not having very many good sets. But throughout this series, we've checked out the Retaliation set, a little bit on the Reflex set, and today I want to talk about the Taunting set. We can get into the other ones later on. All of them have some uses, but today I want to talk about the Taunting set. I think it has a potential to be a very good set. Now, the Taunting set, let's go ahead and jump in here and see what all it says, is typically known for, like, whenever you say, hey, this set has a 30% chance to apply Provoke when attacking. Most likely the first thing that's going to come to most people's mind is, an AoE champion, a champion with like an AoE on their A1 or a lot of their abilities is going to work perfect, kind of similar to the stun set. Because now you have the best chance of applying it to everyone. And while I do agree that does work great, there's another idea that I think may be the perfect balance with this Taunting set, and it's actually right here in the description. So grants the champion 30% chance of applying Provoke for one turn when attacking, and then it gives you an example of what the set is best equipped on and what Plarium's recommendations are. One of those are champions with built-in counterattacks. And this is very nice, but when you synergize it with something else, I think it works amazing. And that's specifically Rockbreaker and Sinesha, Dwarves and Banner Lords. Those who get stronger with more damage they take, and simply those champions who are tanky enough to take the heat from softer champions. And then it provides a soft crowd control effect on the champions. And then obviously when you provoke, the enemies can only use their ability 1, their default skills. So you're not going to have to worry about champions using any of their other abilities. Most champions A1s are not that intimidating. They're not that scary. So you don't have to worry about too much. Now, looking at the champions specifically that I want to talk about, Rockbreaker being the first one, he does his A1 ability increases his defense each time it's used up to 20%, which is very good. Because whenever he uses counterattack, which is what he's getting from his ability 2, he only has 2 abilities, ability 1 and ability 2. He has a passive down here that's not an ability though, so we don't have to worry about no extra cooldowns. But this ability 2, whenever he places counterattack on himself, he'll be countering with his ability 1. So he's going to stack his defense up very, very quickly. This is a 4-turn cooldown. It gets booked down to a 3-turn cooldown. So he has a 3-turn cooldown. He places a provoke, AoE, for 1 turn. And then he has 2 turns to just do some other CC of some kind, or just survive, or lap the enemy before he can place this again, which is incredible. Now, the other very, very important thing about this skill is that it says it has a 75% chance of placing Provoke. When it's booked up, it's a 100% chance on all enemies. But one key thing you'll notice here is it doesn't say attacks all enemies and then has a 75% chance of placing Provoke. It just says has a 75% chance of placing Provoke, meaning there's no chance of a weak hit. A weak hit would prevent him from applying any debuff to the enemy, but since there is no hit, there's no attack, there's no chance of a weak hit. So the only thing you have to worry about, Rockbreaker, is having enough accuracy to actually apply the debuff. For me, I have him at 346 accuracy. This is a little bit overkill for most of the game content. However, Doom Tower can definitely justify having this high of accuracy. I do want to kind of bring him into the arena. His base speed is only 91, so it's kind of difficult to get him geared up to be brought into the arena, but I do think it's possible. Now, another thing with his gear is I would rather have, and when this goes with any champion doing this strategy, is I would rather have a Frostbite set, which is a 2-piece set farmable from Sorath, the fragments that drop, it has a 10% chance to place freeze debuff on the attacker. Now, if I had that set along with the taunting set, if the enemy attacked, they have a chance of getting freezed, and then they have a chance of getting provoke. Provoke is a 30% chance of landing, so it's about a 1 in 3 chance, so it's not going to happen all the time. So the frostbite would hopefully make up for a little bit of that difference. Wouldn't be huge, but you also have the masteries, which I'm going this accuracy one right now because I was building him for the arena. If you're building this champion mostly to just place the provokes, pick up this mastery right here. Increases the chance of placing stun, sleep, freeze from the frostbite set, fear, true fear, or provoke, which is from the taunting set, debuff from skills or artifacts by 5%. This is definitely worth it. And I should go this mastery, and I will later on. But for the arena, I was really wanting him to just have as much accuracy as possible to make sure he actually landed that, his first provoke. Now I can reset these, and I probably will later on. This will be the best way to test and like really make sure he's constantly landing that frostbite set plus the taunting set. You get more benefit from it if you have the frostbite plus taunting. You really get a good chance to just lock down everybody. The other champion is Sinesha. Now, we talked about Rockbreaker's ability 1, stacking defense, which is very, very good. Sinesha's A1 ability has a 30% chance of placing Leech for 2 turns whenever he counterattacks. He counterattacks from his ability 3. He places counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then has a 50% chance, books up to 100% chance as well, of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Same thing as Rockbreaker. You look at this ability, there is no attacks all enemies and then has a chance to place. It's just places this debuff on all enemies. So as long as you beat the accuracy to resistance check, you have more accuracy than the enemy does resistance, then assuming there's no 3% chance to be resisted, everything works out good, you're going to place the debuff. You're not going to get any weak hits, nothing like that. So whenever you go against spirit champions, you're going to place provoke perfectly fine. With Rockbreaker, you're going to place provoke perfectly fine against magic champions. Now, Sinesha does have a 1 turn longer cooldown than Rockbreaker, but he does bring this leech, which allows for your other team to have a little bit more survivability because every time they hit that champion that has a leech on them, they're going to get a little bit of health back, kind of like a miniature lifesteal set. So let's jump in here and let me kind of show you guys what's going on with Rockbreaker. So I'm just going to do the stage 1 of the Doom Tower level, and I will just use Faceless, Rockbreaker, and Shaman. Obviously, this is not going to be a set that works all the time, of course. I mean, sometimes you're going to jump into a battle and he's going to counterattack every single time and apply provoke with every single counterattack. That's amazing. But most of the time, it's going to be about that 1 in 3 range, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But as you can see here, we're about to find out what happens. So he did not place the provoke there. Let's see if he does it here. And I'm doing a video, so obviously he's probably not going to place provoke at all. He's never going to reapply it, and it's going to make it look, weird. But hey, let's see how this works out. So he missed 4 just now in a row. Okay, we have a few more people to hit him. Hopefully he places it here. He placed it there. So we missed the first 4, placed that last one. This is where I'm saying that throwing a frostbite set on him as well could really help with making sure that he actually CCs the enemy in some way. Luckily for Rockbreaker though, he has a pretty low cooldown. So he placed the provoke there without the counterattack. How convenient, right? He's probably going to place it again in a second, I bet. Obviously, if you could get his HP to a level, if he was weak affinity going into things like this, that'd be perfect. Like, these people should attack him more often than not because he is weak affinity. They're not seeming to right now. But whenever he attacks, he has a chance of placing provoke every single time. Champions with counterattack work so well with this set in comparison to other champions, obviously, because he can just constantly provoke, which, if nothing else, helps your team survive a little bit longer. Another place that this is going to be amazing in is the arena. However, for the arena, it's going to be a little bit difficult to speed tune him because he is pretty slow. His base speed is pretty low, so you do have to make sure he goes fast enough to actually apply that provoke. But once that provoke is applied to everybody, they attack him, he has a chance to counterattack, he has a chance of reapplying his provoke. If not, he's at least stacking his defense up higher and higher, making him harder and harder to kill. Obviously, you need to bring a champion to keep him alive. He's not going to survive forever, but if you had him fully booked out, he is going to be stacking defense. He's going to be having this, which reduces the damage he takes. And overall, just a very, very solid champion to bring when this gets booked down, he's going to be applying it more frequently. Like I said, mine is not fully maxed out, but I wanted to go ahead and put this video out there and this information out there so that if you had a champion, or if you're struggling with a faction war specifically, and you had a champion, maybe, hey, I want to try this champion out in taunting gear, you could do that. Because like I said, Ice Golem is a place where not a ton of the sets are very useful, or at least a lot of people think they have a very, very niche use. And while they do, that is not necessarily the go ahead to throw out all of your taunting gear. You probably have some decent pieces of taunting gear that could be equipped on a champion to just improve them that much more. Obviously, I wouldn't sacrifice too many stats for this set, but if you can keep decent stats, like my Rockbreaker, I think has decent stats. Definitely I can push him up a little bit more. His pieces aren't even fully upgraded, but he is at decent stats. 3,300 defense, 3,600 HP. Overall, a fairly solid build with very good accuracy. But if you can make sense of it, definitely give it a shot. Let me know if you found some other champions that work very well with this set, whether it's an AoE champion, whether it's a champion with counterattack, or if it's a different champion. Definitely let me know down in the comments below. I'm very interested in knowing who you're getting to work with this gear, and if you even like it. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you all very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all in the next one.